welcome back to the Spirit of Watercolor with Linda. And oh yes, we've got more videos to do because as we're on this most spiritual journey together, I want to thank you all, subscribers that are new, subscribers that have been staying with me and going through the process of learning more about watercolor and the techniques, tips, and tricks that we have here on these videos. And today I'm going to go back to these bristle brushes that are my Szabo brushes. I don't know if you can still get these. You might be able to get them at Cheap Joe's. They used to sell them. But we've been doing winter scenes and we've been doing trees and other things in the winter scene, snow and so forth. And the last videos we were doing were things like this, but then also, using these techniques with brushes to make cards. So we did the small brush and we did the flat brush, just kind of going at it back and forth. And I thought those came out pretty nice. And then I found this, and you'll see that at the end of one of my videos. It's a sky that we did when we were practicing how to do skies. There are videos on that where the paint's just flowing here. And so I thought, since it's not finished, this is a good time to take something where I'm already inspired by these colors that I used before. And we will take these bristle brushes and we will take this on the board, okay? And we're gonna tip it back, we'll wet it with water with the brushes, and then we'll go in there and we will be putting in our trees and letting them run backwards. It's a backwash, and you'll be creating trees with granulated paints, okay? We have the colors I want to use on this video are more granulating, like Lunar Black, Undersea Green, Payne's Gray, and some of those we're going to mix together. There's also Lunar Red Rock. Some of these I may not use in the trees. I may, we'll see. I'm going to experiment a little with y'all and we'll do a little sketching and get that going. Maybe we'll even use some of this color in there as well. That beautiful blue there and this. And so we'll talk about that at the table. So I'll see you there. Let's get ready to do some exciting back runs. Okay, see you. Okay, so I was practicing to get some clouds like this before we do our back run trees and snow scene here, okay? I really liked this, and then I started to practice and realized how gorgeous it was coming out, and I thought, well, why don't I take you on this practice journey with me, even though it may turn into our actual painting. And so I've been using my pointed round here. You can use a flat brush as well. And I'm going to bring in the paints now. I was using this beautiful blue here. And to be honest, I'm not sure which aqua blue I am using at the moment, but so when I figure that out, I'll put that in the comment or the description below. And then this is the rose of ultramarine that I'm going to put in, and this is drying quickly, but I had to run up and get the camera, and I was so excited how beautiful it was coming out. So now I hope it's not getting too dry, but we're going to come back in with this rose of ultramarine, what I have left here. I might have to load some more. But I'm basically just, letting the clouds paint themselves, wet paper, just wet it across with that big flat angle brush by Szabo, and I just came across with the water, just whoosh, whoosh, and then I started in with this pointed round. And again, I hope it's not too wet at this point. I'm going to bring this up closer so we're both hopefully getting enough view of this. Bring my camera up again. I'm just wasn't planned, so we're gonna kind of add a little bit, but we're gonna hopefully that's not setting up too quickly. And then we come in with some of this color now, and if it's drying up on me, I'll just wet that a little more. That wonderful brush here. This wonderful beautiful brush. I may be drying up a little now, but I think we can still get the idea here, okay? I was just doing this so that I had something to practice some trees on before we went to the other one and finished it up. And yeah, I might just kind of direct this where I want it to go now. A little bit of the pinks in there, okay? And just kind of get that rolling. And again, sometimes, I say this a lot lately, less is more, and it's kind of true. You may find that you can overdo this, so just getting the strokes on and then letting them go. And you can move your board like that. That's why I tape it down, and I often stand up when I work, and we just kind of want to get the information on here. And I think I would have liked it to angle a little more, but I ran upstairs, so, but you know what? A sky could do that, couldn't it? Okay, so here we are again. The Sennilier watercolors. And this is my set that I got, and the blue that I'm using is actually a Phaelo Blue, which I was quite surprised. It has a greenish hue to it quite a bit. It's right there. Whoops. And then the pink that I was using is an opera pink, which is very beautiful as well. And so I'm just going to continue with those, and we're going to do these backgrounds. I've got my board here so I can lift it up and move this around. It's on a smaller board here, and we can lift and do the backwashes where we wet the paper, which I'm going to do right now. Okay. There's some spots on here. I don't know where they came from, and I'm not... Oops! That brush must have some paint on it, which I didn't think it did. Okay, wait a second here. Let's see if that's clear now. I wanted just a wet wash of water here. That's what we got. Okay, good enough. And then we're bringing that where I'm going to put trees up in here. Okay, and here. Trying my camera a little different today. Hopefully this will work. I want to bring it down into the water, like I said, okay? And we're going to, this is that nice big angle brush that I'm using more and more for my flat wash, or my wet washes here. And you could do a nice sky with this, just a flat wash of clear blue sky, right? Okay, so we've got the water coming down here, and so far so good. Now we're going to start to come in. I'll set this down for a moment. As you can see here, I was playing more with more colors, just having fun with these, kind of tipping the paper like that. So we're going to do it here, and hopefully you can see, see that I'm going to be lifting this board, this small board up to do my artwork here. So, okay, we've got Undersea Green. Let me show you here. I just put on the palette, and I have, and it has granulation, which is what I love about Undersea Green. It's a gorgeous kind of yellowy green, a little bit deep, beautiful. And then that Phaelo Blue that I was using before was here, and I'm pretty sure this is one and the same. I don't see so much granulation there, and I did think I saw some, but I'm a little confused because usually Phaelo doesn't have sedimentation, so, but this is a different paint company, so I'll check into that. But I'm going to mix those colors, okay? Now you remember my paper's wet here, okay? And I'm going to come in now with a bigger round brush, and we're just going to start. I have a little problem these days with my paintbrushes rolling away on me. I think this is a pretty thick one. Yeah, that's number 8. And then we'll mix in some of this beautiful greenish blue with this beautiful color here, and the Undersea Green and the Phaelo. Okay. And I've got it mixed onto my pointed round. Okay, and then I'm just going to lift this board up. I hope I can do that here. Oh, I keep trying to lift my gator board up, the big one. I'm just using the small one. And then we're just going to start to bring in some trees here, and we're going to back run them. Okay, they should start to run this way. Okay? And granted that this is wet enough on the edge here. I should start to be able to get some things happening here. Okay. I don't know if I was. Yeah, there might be, you know, the tops of the trees there. Okay, and then I'll bring in a little bit of sideways marks here because they're going to be, what do you call it, little pines there. I'm going to also come in with a little more of the blue in places. Now when I bring it back down like that, you're going to see these paints coming down and creating some reflection too. So I'm going to come back in with that color I just mixed a little more. And then we'll bring that up and down. So this will be going kind of up and down, okay, like so. And sometimes a little richer color. Okay, deeper, richer, okay, into there. And then letting that go up and down, so back runs and then down to make some reflections too, which I can bring in as well down here. Okay, but I want to keep, you know, doing this backwashing up and down. And it should be just beautiful. Okay, I'm going to bring it back down, let it run a little, and then move my board. I don't know if you see people doing this one-on-one stuff where they're using their board as much as I do. I love doing that. Let me see here if I can kind of come in a little more here on my reflections as well. And then I can always come in a little more. But that's kind of the idea, okay? And then I have some pink over there, so I'm kind of going to bring in some of those different color trees in as well, like I did in my first painting where I brought in different colors. This one's going to have a little different look and feel. Again, I have a horizon line here where I can have some water and so on. I want to take a little more blue than green in some of this and kind of vary those colors. And the other thing is too, is you can bring that flat brush in and kind of help this along, okay, as it's coming down, okay, down there. And I have my camera really close so I don't get my head in there, and I'm gonna try not to bump it anymore. I'm gonna come in a little more here, do a little more back running in there, back and forth, getting a little more drama now. Yeah, actually didn't feel like I had it quite enough in there the first time, and it may be mimicking the blue up in there, which is kind of what I like. I want the colors to relate, but there is some green because they are trees, so that's going to run down into some of that green now. Okay, and it's really quite beautiful. Yes, if you kind of like me, I sometimes lose my little tree shapes. I'm going to go back in there, okay, and bring them little points back up. That's where the pointed rounds come in really handy. I also have a smaller pointed round where I can create that a little better. I may have splattered a little, which when you're this wet can happen. I'm gonna let that flow over there and then down. And it's gonna be gorgeous, and hopefully the sedimentation from the other color is gonna come into play here. I've got to get that little bit of splatter out of my sky. Want that to flow down too, which it's doing pretty well. And I'm not going to control this too much. I mean, this is loose, abstract, beautiful, but it is a scene, a landscape scene or seascape, waterscape, which is what I seem to be doing most of this year. I need to think about other subject matter sometime. But yeah, okay, I just soften this too. Less is more, so I'm going to stop doing much at the moment, and I'm just going to kind of clean up some of these things I'm not sure about here. And let them flow. Okay, so isn't that gorgeous? And then we'll see if we want to, as this dries, what happens here, if we need some land or if we need to create some water waves. That blue is just absolutely incredibly beautiful. Sometimes it's all about, at least for me, it's about color. My artwork, I've had people say, Linda, it's about color. I decided to kind of wet this a little more because it was getting too hard-edged, and so get this closer to you. And so I'm just kind of going in and just letting that flow, and it is kind of becoming its own water by doing that. So that's quite satisfying. There's a little bit of a line in here I'd like to see if I can soften. So we're just doing this brush is amazing. This is a Zoltan Szabo brush number 2. It's a big 2 inch. Okay, so you may not have this problem, but since I've got the camera here, right here, and then I'm painting, I can't get as close with my vision, so some of my trees look a little wonky at the top or uneven, or they're angled, the tips of the trees. So I've gone back in over here, and I've been taking this tiny brush. This was my big number 8 round, pointed round, where we were pressing in like that, and then, as you recall, tipping that board, well, backwards. Well, now it's time for my details. So I take this little brush, and I have, of course, wet this paint again, and then I've come in with that tiny brush, okay, and then I have been sometimes using it kind of dry brush. I'm trying to set this up somewhere, and then coming in with these tips of the trees here. But if they look good enough, I just leave them, and of course some may be brighter and some may be dimmer. I can take this other brush clear and just kind of re-wet the tree shape here, okay, like so. And then I've gone in with these ones back over here, and I just see if I can get in here without putting my head in too far. I think, and so then where I've wet it, I'm kind of coming back in and reshaping if they need it. This brush is really tiny, but these trees are kind of far back, so you can use a larger brush if you're more comfortable. But trying to get that straight, and then have the treetops, and then coming in sideways with the brush, kind of bringing in the rest, a little more of the detail of the branches of the trees. And again, if they're not all super defined, that's okay, but I'm going in across here, and then I'm going to go over there and do the same. And feel free to do that or not. If you like it loose and wet without adding that detail work in, that's fine too. Mine were just a little uneven and kind of, I want to say, my treetops weren't quite formed the way I liked. So you can do that, or if you don't need to do that, fine. And then this here, which I really like, they're just sort of this, because I had my board slanted up, okay, like 30 degrees. This came down and formed a very soft blue, which I hope you can see there. I'll zoom in on that, and it's a beautiful blue that's come from the green and the ultramarine, undersea green, and the Phaelo Blue of Sennilier paint again, and then it's come down to here, which I may or may not do trees, or more here, maybe just snow. So for this painting, I'm just having a little fun with some wet on wet, and just bringing my my big brush through, whoop, and just here a little bit of pink, very soft, and here the blue, making it do its own water wave. And you know, I may add more to the bottom and I may not. I'm going to take off the tape and see how it dries and what I have. Just keeping this fresh. I could add a little more pink, but I don't really want to do too much more there because you can overdo it. Okay, and we'll just see what we have.